Hey there, Vox here. Typically when I've done these old school commentaries thus far, I've had specific gameplays or focuses that I wanted to cover in terms of, I want you to watch this gameplay, or I want you to watch this capture card test. I have no clue what this is going over. But I wanted to talk about to you. I guess that's technically correct, even though if it's not grammatically. Let's start over. I'm Vox, and today we're gonna talk about things not coming, or like there being a right time for certain solutions to problems or parts of your life. I've actually been thinking about this a lot recently, as we've just passed my 1 year mark of being 100% full self-employed full-time on YouTube. And, reflecting upon my history on YouTube, especially if you're watching on this channel's been around since, actually, I don't have the date. I'm gonna look that up right now. Going to my channel page, I wanna say 2009? 2010. This channel was made in 2010. I've been posting YouTube videos and been on the platform since 2006. It's been a long time, basically 12 years on the platform in various forms and ways. Now, keeping in mind, in 2006, I was 12, 13. I was literally an internet 12-year-old. So, of course, I had no clue what I was doing at the time. So, a lot of people like to bring up, like, oh, if you've been around this long, why don't you have PewDiePie-level subscribers? And that's not how it works. And I used to get really frustrated whenever I was grinding away at the YouTubes, especially on this channel. I've posted thousands of videos to this channel of very bad gameplay commentaries and gaming videos, and a lot of things that were emulating or doing similar things that a bunch of people have already done, because I thought that's what I wanted, because I thought that's what I should be doing, and wondering why the success wasn't just coming to me. A, because that's not how it works. That's not how it ever works. But also B, I wouldn't have been ready for that level of success had it shown up on my door. And I actually have a direct, usable example of that, in that I've mentioned a couple times in various videos and forums, my very first quote-unquote big break on YouTube was I had a dual commentary, which was the gaming YouTube speak for collaborative video back in the day, with Vicstar123, who is still a fairly large YouTube creator and was one of the top young Call of Duty creators of like the second wave of Call of Duty creators on the platform. He was already full-time. I mean, he was only like 16 at the time, whereas I was like 18 or something when it happened. And it was the coolest experience of my life. Just total random occurrence that we were put in contact with each other, and he agreed to give me a dual commentary purely because he liked how my voice sounded. And you can tell if you watch the video that he has no idea who I am or why we're talking, but he still wanted to do it anyway. So it was a little awkward, but it was one of my first big breaks, and it got me like 1,000 subscribers. Just bam. Day 1, 1,000 subs was the craziest thing in the world. Helped get me my first YouTube partnership with the Yoush Network. It set a lot of things in motion for me. And sometimes I used to look back and wish that I would have stuck with Call of Duty, because I quickly, after that happened, moved away from Call of Duty. I no longer posted it. I got bored of playing it. I had a lot of problems with the community surrounding it. And so I was no longer posting Call of Duty. And that is what those subscribers came from. They came from a Call of Duty gameplay video from a Call of Duty focused channel, and saw some of my recently posted Call of Duty videos, and that was kind of the value proposition with which they would have subscribed. And I quickly switched to Halo. I quickly just generally abandoned Call of Duty. And for a while, whenever I was getting really frustrated with my lack of growth or whatever, I kept beating myself up for not having stuck with Call of Duty, because in theory, it logically works out that had I stuck with it, I probably would have grown a lot more, because I had that level of exposure. I had that name recognition for a certain content type that had I stuck with it, I would have been able to put in some level of production value, or at least been able to keep up with the standards for the time, and possibly grown quite a bit more if I'd done that. And it's one of those impossible what-if situations where you could never have really done it. The problem is I wouldn't have been happy. The whole reason I abandoned Call of Duty, and the whole reason I never stuck with one of those kinds of niches in the first place, was I am not someone who... I am not someone who can stick with just one game or one hyper-specific subject, because I am someone who has so many different vested interests in so many different subjects and discussion matters and video games and the like. And so, had that level of success just rushed upon me, like tens of thousands at the time would have been a more accurate scale, tens of thousands of Call of Duty viewers awaiting my next Call of Duty video, I wouldn't have been able to sustain it. I couldn't even sustain the 1,000 that showed up because I wasn't ready. I wasn't in a place where I could handle that level of expectation, of responsibility, of quote-unquote fame. I wasn't at that point. And then you look at some YouTubers like MKBHD, who started doing their tech videos super early, and, you know, that's what they stuck with, and people were, you know, people might say, like, oh, you should have stuck with that, but even then, like, I made some tech videos, both on this channel and on my main channel, and, well, my main channel didn't start till 2012, but on this channel and on my old channel, I was making tech videos back in 2009, 2010, 2008, I did the very terrible unboxings. I still have some of the footage, or at least the YouTube rips. Terrible unboxings and like one horrible review. Had I stuck with that, it just wasn't a format that I was ready for. And this was something, like I said, that I was thinking about, that was circling in my head. And then my fiance brought it up with regards to something personal to her, but a very similar thing of, this is the solution that I have now, but it wouldn't have worked for me a few years ago. And that's the same thing with my YouTube thing, wherein had I, like, there's always those notions of, if I could go back in time and tell myself X, Y, or Z, what would it be? And for me, it would not be anything. Like, I might tell myself minor little details, but, you know, that you would expect the answer to be, oh, I would tell myself to do this in thumbnails and to make these kinds of videos and to stick with this trend. But no, that wouldn't have been the right solution for me at the time. I had to go through the process. Life is all about the process, about the journey, not the result. I had to go through the process of making gaming videos, getting burned out on gaming videos, learning the things I learned by making the gaming videos, making the connections that I made through that process, understanding the back end of YouTube the way that I did, learning the flaws in my own work ethic and approach and things like that, the way that I learned it, in order to come to the conclusion that tech videos were for me. I only got into tech videos as a side passion, as, oh hey, this OBS, I mean, to be honest, like, people joke about me just being the OBS guy, but that's how I really pivoted into tech, was I was making gaming videos, and I discovered OBS early on, and was using OBS to make my videos, and wanted to share that, because it was suddenly the most helpful program I found for it, beyond the traditional DX story or Fraps. And those tutorials blew up. I didn't stick with it at the time. I was still shooting for that gaming channel goal, but then I realized that that was fun and that it was rewarding and that people were watching it. So in Christmas 2014, or the Christmas before 2014, I think. No, yeah, it was the Christmas of 2014. I'd been making more. I'd already throughout the year sent out more review requests and started doing some reviews, and that stuff was gaining traction, and I was realizing I loved learning camera work, learning production, learning to review tech and playing with tech. That's what I grew up loving. So then Christmas 2014, I made the decision, it's time to switch fully to tech. And that is how I was able to build the success that I have at the moment. Had I forced that upon myself at any previous point in time, it would not have worked out that way. And this is all one big giant rant, because I'm terrible at pacing, to basically give you the idea that it's okay if you don't have the solution or the answer or the objective for yourself right now in the moment. That is okay. That's perfectly normal. That's healthy. Even if you have an idea that winds up being something that you encounter or settle with in 5 years, in 2 years, in 10 years, it is okay, normal, and probably a good idea that you haven't jumped on it just yet. Because the right solution for you is not always the right solution for you right now. And that's something I used to struggle with a lot, was was trying to, or, that was my big source of anxiety. Coming out of high school, going into college, switching colleges, trying to figure out where I was going in life. I got really frustrated not knowing what my path was going to be, not knowing what the answers were. And a big source of that anxiety was because I saw examples of people who seemingly had it figured out. But the thing is they went through a very similar process to figure it out. And so while you can do it without as much worry or anxiety and just trusting that very few people die without having things somewhat figured out or without having reached a stronger point of stability or understanding of themselves, you still have to go through the process. There are no shortcuts in life. If you do make a shortcut, you're probably not on the right path anymore anyway. Yeah. Don't know if this made any sense. Wanted to share it anyway. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you can relate to this at all. I focus very much on my examples because that's how I can best illustrate the point, but of course this applies to quite literally everything. I mean, hell, you talk about school homework. Getting the answers right in front of you to the homework does nothing for you. That doesn't help you. That causes you more problems because then you don't learn how to do it. And come the test or the real life application, you're screwed. All right, I'm going to hop off here. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're crazy. And I'll see you next time.